everyone, this is Geeky Vices with J-Belle, where I talk about bits of pop culture and geekdom I've been into lately. So the general vibe of the show is unrehearsed, unedited, and unhip. So basically, I'll just go with whatever my impulses take me. Sometimes, generally, it's not gonna be all about the latest and greatest. Sometimes I'm watching something that just came out. Sometimes it's something that came out a long time ago that I'm watching for the first time, or sometimes it's me either resuming something or rewatching something for the millionth time. It's whatever I feel like, and I have a quite eclectic taste, so enjoy the ride. Also, general forewarning is that I do tend to be spoiler light about my content that we're talking about each week. As you can tell, this is the one thing I slightly edit, is adding the name of what I'm talking about, but you can see what I'm talking about over here somewhere, generally if my hands aren't being blocked out. Ooh. Yeah, so anyways, that's a hint of what I'm talking about, but yeah, if you want to go in without any spoilers at all, watch that content first and then enjoy my video, but I avoid the major plot spoilers and twists, but as I said, there are some spoilers that are going to be slipping through. I just can't help it. It's hard to talk about something without letting a little bit slip through. So anyways, this week, as my hand gestures have indicated, I am talking about SOTUS, which is a Thai drama. It's my second attempt at watching a Thai drama. I did start watching O Negative a while back. I think I'll probably try it again, especially since I now know certain things after watching the beginnings of both of these, because these are my main frames of reference for Thai culture. And then both of them have college students, but apparently it's a big thing in, I don't know if it's super commonplace, but I guess like with some Thai universities, there is commonplace hazing that happens. So like with freshman orientation activities by the upperclassmen, like it's very institutionalized, and it's believed to kind of like strengthen the students as individuals, and also like their unity with each other, and like get them to like appreciate their upperclassmen, and just basically make them ready to endure anything that happens with college. So that's the idea, but reason I'm talking about the hazing so much is that that's actually what the show's title references, is that hazing system that happens in college, which I'll explain what the acronym is. But the main characters is basically, there's one of the freshmen is Kong, who is this charming guy who will always stand up for his friends. Like, they can always rely on him. Like, he's very witty and quick-wit. And oh yeah, all the characters are in the engineering department of the school, by the way. And then when the main upperclassman, the one who's in charge, like the head hazer, is RT, who he butts heads with. But reason I was drawn to this series in the first place is because it said in the Netflix description that eventually the relationship becomes closer. So basically, it's one of those things where like they start off as like butting heads and like somewhat adversarial, but they also respect each other, and it eventually blossoms into a special kind of relationship down the line. So yeah. Anyways, so what SOTUS stands for, which I was actually really surprised that that the letters are all English words for the acronym. So the first S is, I believe it's seniority. So basically respecting the hierarchy and your seniors and everything. O is, I believe it's for order. I think it was order. It's either order or obedience, but I'm pretty sure it's order. T is, I should have refreshed my memory with these. I know U is for unity. Oh, T is for teamwork, U is for unity, and then the last S is for spirit. So as I said, surprisingly, it is English words for the acronym. I don't know why I said American words. It's probably because I'm trying to say this spontaneously, like feeling pressured to remember. It's like getting a pop quiz without being any more verbal pop quiz. It's like, wait, what's the answer? What's the answer? Okay. So anyways, one thing I will say is a little side tangent is that with certain shows, like if I watch like a Korean drama where they try having English speaking, like characters speaking English all of a sudden, or for instance, I recently watched Love O2O where there's a character who starts speaking English. It's like, it sounds really off to me, and I feel like I get annoyed when they turn off the subtitles for that, because I'm like, hey, even though they're speaking English, they do not sound like a natural English speaker, so it's hard for me to pick up, especially since my ears are being trained to listen to them speaking their native language. But one thing I will say, interestingly enough, is with SOTUS, like, I don't know if it's just like because Thai language more easily sounds closer to English, or if they just are better schools for it. But yeah, it doesn't throw me off. It doesn't jolt me out whenever I do hear them speak in English. So yeah, when they said the words in that, I'm like, okay, I'm down with this. Although, as I said, it's definitely something to get past the hazing. Like, I was waiting for it to get past that point, because like part of me is just horrified with that. Part was like, I'm not quite, I wouldn't say quite a pacifist, but it's like, I am definitely not a fighter, militarist person. I'm more so a creative type. I am a slothful, creative type person. So when I see like these very like institutionalized, like obedience hierarchy things, like my instincts are kind of just like, no, not for me. Like, especially since I will speak up when I think something is wrong. Like, at least who I was, I know there's this one memory in middle school where we were tricked. Basically, it was April Fool's Day. We were sixth graders in PE, and our eighth grade TA, she tricked us into hiding in the bathrooms or in the locker room for a while because that was supposed to be our trick, like our April Fool's Day trick on the teacher. And she and the male TA like basically came into the locker room and sprayed us with hoses. And I was the only person who was like willing to walk through the water and try grabbing the hose and aiming at them. So as I said, like if it's really bad, I will speak up. Even though I do tend to be a very passive person, I readily admit. So yeah, as I said, there's a part of me that's always horrified by that. Like, I am never gonna be like. That's part of why like I've never been the type that would be like in the ROTC type programs, or I never was gonna be a sorority girl or anything. Like, there's something about like that kind of hierarchy just doesn't jive with me. So as I said, it was definitely a bit rough for me watching them have to endure that, even though I realized that the intention was to bring them together. But I kind of feel like it also is like, it's kind of interfering with them getting their chances to get to know each other, because you guys are just constantly yelling them and punishing them and terrifying them. But it's also like the hazing is never like so bad that you're like, okay, that's inhumane. But the thing that does suck is that people do get punished if other people ditch. So basically, you're being penalized because someone else decided to cop out. So it just, and they'll basically like, where are your friends? Where are your friends? But yeah, and I understand like there's also trying to respect seniority, but like I kind of is like, I feel like people would respect their seniors more if they saw their seniors trying to help them out rather than trying to pick on them. But as I said, it's a complex system. There is a culture thing, and like they actually do even talk within the series about how there is controversy with the SOTUS system and how there is some people who think it should be disbanded. One thing I do think is that I think I'm trying to figure out how they're trying to keep up with their studies when they're expected to do like this ridiculous level of orientation hazing. And like as I said, like the fact that if I decided to ditch, like everyone else who went to orientation that day would be punished. So it's a really terrible system in that regard. It makes it really hard for it's like, well, I need to study because that's why I'm going to college, or it's like I just can't handle you guys doing this stuff. So, but yeah, as I said, like that's part of it. And as I said, my other Thai drama I saw, like I stopped only a few episodes in, was O Negative, and like that was like an art school. Like those were all art students, and they still had a similar like hazing type of thing. So as I said, I think it's pretty integrated, and I don't know if it's into all Thai universities, but at least into some of them. I will say one thing that is interesting parallel between the two of them is that at the end of the hazing, like people were like bonding more so with like the seniors, and like everyone was more relaxed afterwards. Like, okay, we've gotten through it. But also, there seems to be like a wild beach trip to a trip to the beach, which I guess is also part of the thing. I don't know if that's just, I'm not sure if that's just like a television thing or if that's actually realistically like what they do. It's like, yeah, okay, we all went through this terrible hazing thing. Now let's go on our class trip together, type of thing. But anyways, I was drawn to this because there was the whole LGBT element in it. And one thing I do find interesting is that the main characters, like as I said, there's the freshman who will speak up for everyone, and like eventually like the hazer guy, who he's one of those people who will follow rules, and like we actually see flashbacks to when it was him hazing like getting hazed is that like if he was told to do something, he would follow it through. Like he would not cop out. So like he would. So I think it's like he doesn't hold people to standard that he doesn't hold for himself. But sorry, I completely lost my tangent. But yeah, like the fact that like also it's like neither of these characters are ones who I think consider themselves normally into guys. Like I don't think that like they're open. Like neither of them are like, oh, I'm in the closet gay. I think it's just like they slowly find feelings. And the thing is like there are openly gay characters in the group. So it's not like, I mean, I know, so there is like still some stigma, but it's not as much as a lot of other cultures would have. Because like one of the other hazers is openly gay, and like we'll be kind of like talking about like all the guys, like how, like all the guys he slept with or all this, and it's like, no, they're not treating him any less than, and like as I said, there is like some drama as far as like when basically the younger student is the one who's very much pursuing the older student. Like it's very clear. Like when the early episodes, he says like when the older student is hazing him, RT, he's Kong responds RT to being like, well, how are you going to stop me? Get this from me? It's like, well, I'll just make you my wife, and then what you have is mine. So like he always just like has all these like we come back to, but like it's also always been kind of flirtatious for him, and I don't think Artit knows how to respond to that. So they have a very complicated relationship, but they do definitely respect each other, and they keep on just being drawn to one another. So, and as I said, it's definitely Kong is the one who very much is openly pursuing, like, well, not super openly, but like he's definitely the one trying to pursue Artit. And the thing is that at the beach, like at their end of hazing ceremony type of thing, is that they're each given a little gear which represents them being from the engineering school, and how like the gear is really important to them because like they're all gears that work together or else the machine doesn't work, but also that it's supposed to represent engineer's heart. So the fact that Kong gave Artit, then decides to give Artit like, hey, hold on to this for me, and it's like, do you know how important this is? Like, I do. So I do like their dynamic, and as I said, like it's definitely a slow pursuit, I would say. But I like how like they're not. It's not as that they're not usually the guys who think of themselves as being. I like how like that's not the biggest deal made for it, because another LGBT movie, international movie I saw years ago, which is one I super recommend, is The Way He Sees Me, and it is Brazilian. And the thing is that with that one, the main character is a blind high school student, and like there's a new guy who comes in, and like the thing is like he slowly gets a crush on the new guy, but like it's always a bigger deal that the main character is blind rather than like the fact that like, I think I like a guy. Like I always find that I find that so fascinating, like how it's like it's not as much someone dealing with their own sexuality. I think it's more so a matter of like, do I really like this person? So as I said, like for me, that is very fascinating, and maybe it's just for. I know I'm coming from a perspective of being a cisgender heterosexual female, so it's like I know I'm kind of an outsider looking in on these issues, but it still very much fascinates me, and I do like the chemistry between the characters, and I do like I do kind of like the slow burn. It does pay off when they finally kiss, because there are some series where like there's finally the kiss and it's bad. Like I remember watching Love 020 and they finally kiss, and it's just like you can see the guy's clearly into it, but she's clearly like, what? Like it's just bad. Versus this one's like, okay, when they do kiss, it's nope, they're actually kissing. So yeah, I enjoy it. I'd say and I do like the female character who does get a crush on Kong. Like I do really like her, and I'm rooting for the M and her to end up together, which we don't know what happens because the last episode's basically skips 3 years, so we don't see, or it's either 2 or 3 years, but basically like we don't see what happens with a lot of the side characters, which always bothers me. I like having that closure about like having those characters wrapped up. But I did hear that there is a sequel series that's coming out, so I'm gonna keep my eye open for that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's just, as I said, like I think it's just if you have to get past the hazing. Like, if that's gonna be something that if that's a hurdle, that's too much of a hurdle for you, then you should skip this. But if you, I do think the payoff is worth it. I mean, there's not a lot of like, it's not a lot of like, it's not one of those things where like you're gonna get a lot of. I'm trying to think of the right way of wording it. I mean, it's not like you're gonna be. It's not like you're watching like a, like yaoi or something where it's like it's gonna be pretty sexual. It's like, but there is like some like romantic moments, and like I said, like there's some sweet stuff, but like it's not gonna be, if you just want something like gratuitous, this is not the thing for you. If you wanted something like where it's like a slow build and like where it's characters who are complex and like build up to each other and like you see them lasting, then yeah, I recommend this. And I will say it is interesting how what happens with Kong when the 3 years are up. So yeah, I definitely, I do enjoy the series. It's good LGBT one if you want like a different international view from as like, I do like how it's not them being worried about being stigmatized or how they're worried about their own safety or anything, or like that they're in big denial about their sexuality. It's just kind of like being like, how do I feel about this one person? So yeah, as I said, it's interesting. Like, I keep on having to talk about the hazing and the sexuality. Like, those are like the two biggest things. And then as I said, like, for me, it was a little bit of a hurdle to get over it. But I mean, it wasn't super bad. Like, as I said, there's nothing where like like you feel like it's inhumane. You're just like, as I said, like, I imagine it's somewhat like what extreme ROTC training is, but like where it's like everyone has to do it, like regardless of how good a shape you are and such. So yeah. All right. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoy and continue doing your own geeky vices. As I said, I probably will get back to watching Oh Negative. That's another Thai drama. I'm aware of that there are similarities in that, in the fact that like it is the same age group, and as I said, there is that hazing element to get past. Although I do love one of the female characters in that. Like, I can't remember which one, but it's the one who's basically like the golden girl of the group. But yeah, like as I said, I'll get back into that one. I think like this kind of inspired me to get back into that. And as I said, I would highly, highly recommend the way he looks. Like, that is such an amazing movie. I need to get my own copy of it. But like that one, like if you want, like as I said, like an international LGBT movie where, as I said, like it's more so where as there is, it's more so as the main guy is blind, but as like that's always the thing that like he's being treated differently for. Like that's the thing. Like anyone, people make fun of him. Like. For it. It's never about the fact that like him having feelings for a guy. Like it's never an issue, the fact that like he's starting to develop a crush on the new guy, like his new close friend. So yeah, anyways, that's it for now. Enjoy, talk to you guys later. Bye. There we go.